fools. Got that fire inside, we're rising up to shine. This is our time, yeah, we're feeling so divine. Oh, we're thriving, we're vibrant, bold and free. Women owning midlife, just you wait and see. Dance through the changes with a heart so strong. This is our anthem, come and sing along.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Not Your Mother's Midlife. I'm your host, Johanna, and today we are talking about something I've been seeing here and there quite a lot lately, and it's really piqued my interest. This idea that GLP1 medications like Ozempic and Wegovy might actually reduce breast cancer risk. I've been reading about this for a few weeks now. I've been listening to podcasts, not a whole podcast that I could share with you. I've just been listening to bits and pieces from different podcasts. So I didn't really have any episode that I could actually share with you today. So I just thought that I'd give you just a brief breakdown of it because it's interesting and hopefully more comes out about it. So I've been reading about it, like I said, for a few weeks and going through the studies. And I wanted to bring it to you because headlines are doing what headlines do. They grab your attention and then leave out the part that actually helps you understand what's going on. So that's what we're going to do today. What did the research find? What can it actually tell us? And what's the biology underneath it that nobody's really explaining? There's a Penn State Medicine study that's been getting a lot of attention. Researchers looked at women with overweight or obesity who are taking GLP-1 medications and found lower rates of breast cancer compared to women who weren't on them. But here's the thing. It's observational data, which means researchers watch what happened over time. They didn't randomly assign women to take the medication and then follow them for a decade to see who got cancer and who didn't. And that distinction matters enormously because observational data can show you a pattern. It cannot tell you what caused it. There is a difference between we observed lower rates and this drug prevents cancer. And right now we are firmly in the first category of we've been observing, not the second. To understand why researchers are even asking this question, you need to understand what fat tissue is actually doing in your body. Because most of us were taught that fat is basically stored energy, something you carry too much of or you don't carry enough of, but that's not the full picture. Fat tissue is biologically active. It produces hormones. It drives inflammation. It affects how your body handles insulin. And after menopause, when your ovaries stop producing estrogen, fat tissue becomes one of the main places in your body where estrogen is still being made. More fat tissue means more estrogen exposure, and sustained estrogen exposure is a known driver of hormone receptor positive breast cancer, which is the most common type in postmenopausal women. That connection is well established. That's not the new part, however. Then there's the insulin. Excess fat, particularly visceral fat, the kind that sits around your organs, is linked to insulin resistance, and insulin-related growth factors can encourage cell growth in ways that over years raise cancer risks. Visceral fat produces inflammatory compounds. Chronic low-grade inflammation over time creates conditions where abnormal cells are more likely to survive. It's slow, but it adds up. The hypothesis, and that is the right word for where we are going with this, is that GLP-1 medications help reduce excess fat. They might also reduce some of what comes with it, lower estrogen exposure after menopause. Because better insulin response, less inflammation, that's the logic, and it makes biological sense. There's also a separate question being looked at, whether GLP-1 receptors exist on cancer cells and whether the drug might be doing something directly. That one is still mostly in the lab. We don't know yet what it means for actual humans. What the randomized controlled trial data, the strongest evidence that we have, does show is that these drugs do not appear to increase breast cancer risk. That's worth saying because some women have been worried about it. The caveat is that most of these trials weren't designed to study cancer. They ran for 2 or 3 years. Cancer doesn't develop on that timeline, so we don't have trial data proving these medications are protective either. We're in the middle of the research. I say we like I'm doing the research. No, I'm reading about the research. The newer real-world studies are finding the clearest signal in hormone receptor-positive breast cancer, which is consistent with the estrogen story. Women with overweight or obesity seem to be the group where it's most relevant. There's also early work on whether these medications affect outcome for women already diagnosed, which is a completely different question and one researchers are keeping a close eye on. So where does that leave you? If you're already on a GLP-1 for weight or metabolic health reasons, the breast cancer picture is not something to be worried about based on what we know right now. And if you're not on one, this research alone is not a reason to seek one out. That's not where the evidence is yet. What I'd take from this regardless is the biology. Excess fat tissue after menopause is not about how clothes fit or how you feel. It's hormonally and metabolically active in ways that have real implications for cancer risk. That's been known for a while. It's just that nobody tends to explain it in a way that makes it make sense. I'll put the key studies in the show notes if you want to dig deeper. And like always, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or share it on your social media. It might help someone, and it definitely will help me to grow my followers. Subscribe to the podcast and my YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Leave a 5-star review to help others find me easier. I'd really appreciate that. And until next week, I'm Johanna, and this is Not Your Mother's Midlife. Bye-bye.